Welcome to My Favorite Drum Gear. I'm Brady. Today we're looking at the Buttkicker Gamer Pro, which is a tactile haptic transducer. It's like a motor that you attach to your drum throne, and then when you play your bass drum, the whole stool shakes. Stick around, let's check it out. Today we're looking at the Gamer Pro from Buttkicker, and as I said, it's a tactile haptic transducer. So we'll get into it more, but basically you run a signal from however you are making a drum sound, be it through your drum module or through a microphone, any other way that you're getting that sound. It runs it into an amp, and then from the amp into this guy. This guy attaches to your drum throne, and then when low frequency signals come through that amp, this thing shakes so you can actually feel it. Now, this might look vaguely familiar to you, and you'd remember seeing it in red. There was a product by Pearl called the Throne Thumper. It was actually powered by Buttkicker, so it was pretty much the same thing, sold by Pearl to be attached to your throne. That product has been discontinued, and the folks at Buttkicker got into making and focusing on these for a couple other applications, namely video games, and this is the Gamer Pro. It's intended to be used for flight simulators and racing simulators. You'd attach it to your gaming chair. They also have applications for home theater. Now, the folks at Buttkicker have come to realize that there still is an application for drummers, and even more specifically for electronic drummers. And so today we're going to take a look at both applications, both for acoustic drums and electronic drums. So if you stick around, I'm going to show you some things that you need to know if you're using this video game intended system as a drummer. And then we'll talk about my overall thoughts and if this is something I think you might need or want. So starting off, know that this is an American company, and here's why I was so excited to get my hands on one of these. As originally an acoustic drummer who now plays electronic drums, at home, at practice, and starting to try to play out a little bit, there is a feeling that comes with playing a bass drum. It is creating a vibration that your body feels. And that's missing on electronic drums. And so if we can find a way to add some of that back in, will it improve playing? Will it improve the playing experience? We're going to find out. So with that said, let's check out what comes in the box.
So I did an unboxing video, but everything is really straightforward. And the website at buttkicker.com is actually very detailed about what comes in the packaging. I will say that the box it comes in has some nice sturdy foam, and you could actually use that to transport it. But if you are going to be gigging it regularly, I'd recommend like a Pelican or a Harbor Freight style case. Now this is what the back of the amplifier looks like. We'll see how we plug everything in. Here is the front. I'll show all of that to you in just a moment. It does come with a remote that works fairly well. And then it has these breakaway cables, which are really nice if you're moving the throne and don't want to have to unplug a bunch of stuff.
So I'm just going to show you the technical specs at this point from the Buttkicker website. They're very detailed. They tell you everything that you could possibly know and a whole bunch of things that I don't understand.
So again, I made a whole video showing you how to set this up, but frankly, if you go to thebuttkicker.com, they have a video there on the entire setup. It's much more detailed. It's very easy to follow, and the guy's wearing cool white gloves. So if you want to know exactly how to set this up, I would just head over there and watch their videos. So dialing this in for drums is pretty easy. You have three settings for the most part. Your low filter cutoff is the button that can be used if your bass drum is especially boomy or resonant to kind of clean up some of those lows. Now the high cutoff frequency can be used if you're picking up floor toms, or again, if it's especially resonant and you want to clear some of that out. And then of course the volume is going to adjust just how much it shakes. So by taking off the high cutoff frequency completely and turning the volume all the way up, you're going to get the most rattle, but also the most kind of vibration noise. I found that setting the high cutoff frequency filter to 40, which is the lowest it goes, and around 30 out of 50 for volume gives me exactly the thump that I want. I ran this test on airlift pneumatic thrones, regular pole stands, and screw top, and found the pneumatic to have the most bounce. Now, while I am not a double bass player, I did set this pad to a bass drum without a bunch of resonance and played really fast doubles and single strokes, and I can tell you the throne does not get muddy. Every single stroke comes through, so if you're a fast double bass player, this product will still work well for you.
So now let's talk about plugging this into your module when you're using electronic drums. Now there's a number of options here. I'm using an SPD SX Pro just because it's got all the options that I'm going to talk about today. Now being a unit that's designed for gamers, they're not dealing with quarter-inch TRS inputs that often. So you're going to want to buy yourself a little headphone to TRS adapter. If you don't have any of these, you want them. So the first easy way to plug your amplifier in is to use the supplied RCA to headphone jack. Put your adapter on and plug it right into the headphones. That's going to send a signal directly into the amplifier. Now, what if you want to listen to yourself play through headphones? That's the reason that they've included this little Y splitter. So in that case, leave your quarter-inch TRS into the splitter. This side goes into the amplifier, and this side will go into your headphones. Now, what you need to know is that the signal now being sent from the headphones is any sound that comes out with a low frequency is going to be sent and therefore is going to shake your throne. In my experience, that means bass drum for sure, but also floor tom. Importantly, if you're using an audio in or a mix in to play music through your module and out your headphones, you are going to get all the existing bass and drums into your Buttkicker Gamer Pro. And I will tell you that that is not the experience you want. It's pretty distracting. So here we have a few different ways to address this problem. With a mixer, you could run a mono or stereo out into one channel of your mixer. You could run the RCA cable from your headphone out directly into your unit. You would then plug your audio source into your mixer and then run your headphones out. Now you have the sound of the drums only going directly into the amplifier. You have the sound of the drums only going directly into your mixer, and then you have the ability to mix that with your music, with your audio input, and have it all come out your headphones. As you can see, you could do all of this with a very simple 2-channel, 1-output mixer, but I think for an E-drummer, a 6 to 8-channel mixer is probably what you want just for future versatility.
Now, some modules actually have the option of internal routing. The TD50, for example, you can go into the audio setup, find your mix in, and then move it away from the master and just through the headphones. Now you can plug your master outputs directly into the amplifier. Now this will let you listen to both through your headphones without having the audio shake your thumper, but you do lose the option now of running everything through an external speaker if you wanted to hear things without headphones or have somebody else listen with you. The final option solves that problem.
Now the next way is to use your adapter if needed and run your headphones directly out of the headphone jack. You will run your external audio source into the line in. Now you have music and whatever you're playing coming out of your headphones. Next was to try the RCA into one of your balanced direct outs. And now you would program this to the bass drum and send just the bass drum signal straight into the amplifier. Now, when I did that, I found that the signal was greatly reduced. And I think it has something to do with the balanced out going into the amplifier, and the signal is just nowhere near where it needs to be to actually get the transducer to respond in the way I wanted it to. So I thought, if the problem is a balanced output, how can I unbalance this output? And so what I did was buy this RCA to quarter-inch adapter, and then I've got a mono, a TS cable, not a TRS cable, that I'm plugging into here, which is now effectively turning this balanced output into an unbalanced output and sending that to the amplifier. This solved my problems, and now I've set up the module to run bass drum only out of this and into the amplifier. I have my line in running into the unit, running into the headphones. So my headphone mix is hearing my audio or not, hearing everything being produced by the module, and is sending it to my headphones. At the same time, only the bass drum is being sent into the amplifier and then into my drum throne. If you have a unit like a TD50 or an SPD-SX Pro that allows for individualized balance outs, this is the best way I found to get exactly what you want, which is bass drum only in your throne and no additional equipment.
Acoustic drums, you're just going to run the mic cable directly from your bass drum mic into a mixer. It won't work, run right into the amplifier, and then you can either use your outputs or your headphones to run into the amplifier. Now, I have found that it generally doesn't pick up too much of the floor tom, and it definitely depends on where exactly your microphone is positioned as far as how much thump you're going to get. From there, if you want to play with music, just put your favorite music source and headphones on and go to it. If you're using the Yamaha EAD, you'll actually plug your outputs into the mixer, you'll plug your audio source into the mixer, you'll plug your headphones into the mixer, and then you will plug the EAD's headphone mix right into the amplifier. I found that the EAD works wonderfully and it picks up almost no floor tom unless your floor toms are tuned incredibly low.
Before I get to my overall thoughts on the Buttkicker Gamer Pro, I need to mention a few things. So we need to simply remember that this is not made for drummers, it's being used by drummers. And so there are some flaws in the product for drummers, but they're not flaws in the product. And now the second thing, I know I'm gonna see the first comment once I post this video, and it's gonna say, Porter and Davies, Porter and Davies, Porter and Davies. And I get it. There is a company out there that does almost exclusively drum thrones for drummers that give this same haptic feedback. Theirs are made for gigging drummers, and from what I understand, they're the absolute top of the line best in the market. And I will never play one. And I know I'll never play one because I've looked them up online, and the cheapest saddle style throne that I could find is gonna cost me almost $1,100 to be shipped to my house. And guess what? It doesn't even have a bass. It's just the seat with the electronics to plug into Thump. And so if I want a pneumatic rock and sock style throne bass, I basically have to buy a rock and sock throne to bump up my cost by another $200. So while I get Porter and Davies makes the absolute top of the line, I think that for most of us, they're asking an unreasonable amount of money for it. Now that said, this is not free and it is a luxury item. Shipped to your house, this is going to cost you about $350. So overall, what do I think about the Buttkicker Gamer Pro? I really like this thing. Is this a necessary piece of gear? Is this necessary kit for your drums? No. Does it improve your technique? Absolutely not. Does it make you play faster? No. Does it make you play better? No. Does it help you groove with a band? Maybe. But the question is, does this make the experience of playing drums, and especially electronic drums, more enjoyable for the player? Hands down, absolutely 100% yes. The most disappointing part about getting this product and testing it out and running it through its paces is turning it off. You get it all set up, you plug it in, and for the first 5 minutes, this is a new sensation especially for electronic drums. And then over the next, I don't know, however long you're playing, you get used to it and you kind of forget that it's there. And then I turned it off right before I was done playing and I hit the bass drum, and the bass drum sounds flat. It sounds weak. It's the same sound that I've been hearing, but I'm not feeling anything. The experience of using this product for electronic drums especially is so immersive. It just makes the drum set feel more alive. As I was testing this out, I did have a single experience where the unit overheated. And that's while I had the volume turned all the way up to 50. I played for about an hour and a half. The unit overheated, and so the amplifier shut off. The actual transducer underneath me was fine. The amplifier shuts off so that it doesn't damage the expensive part. I let the unit rest for about 10 minutes. I turned it back on, and it worked exactly as expected. Of course, then I turned the volume down to something reasonable because I really had the stool shaking at a near uncomfortable amount. So before my score, I want to again say that this is a luxury product. It makes playing electronic drums more enjoyable. It does not make you a better player. It is not necessary for your drum kit, but I really like it. It's a lot of fun, and I think makes the experience so much more fun. I like that the Buttkicker attaches to any existing throne that you've got. Does it perform as it's supposed to? Yes. Does it do exactly what it's supposed to? Yes. Could I find any flaws with the actual product? No. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5 review. If you want to use this for your drums, hopefully I've walked through all of the alterations that you have to do in wiring to make it work the way you want to. But if there's a way that you've got and you want to know if it'll work for you, send me a message and I'll run it through the paces and see if I can get things working the way that they should. This is once again the part where I ask you to like and subscribe. Thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed. I'm now over 1,000. And so I will be getting a hold of Lemon's top of the line drum kit and giving it a very in-depth full review. Am I off base here? Did I miss anything in this video? Please comment and let me know if there's something you think I missed or something you'd like to see me try out. Thanks for watching.